Okay, good morning, everybody. I know I've got a couple more people I need to let in here. So let's let Shelly get on here. And Shelly, I don't know if you can hear me because, of course, the first thing I was going to do is brag about our app, our Sheer Madness app. And as far as full disclosure goes, everyone, I hope everybody can hear me. I hope everybody can see the screen. As you know, we try to be as transparent as we can here. And so, Shelley, I was actually on a meeting with Zenoti yesterday, and I got this text from Shelley. Our app is not working, which was really weird because I could book an appointment at her store. I did it on my phone and booked an appointment and booked an appointment fine. But Shelley, I don't know if you can unmute or you're somewhere you can talk, but do you have an update on that?
I do not yet. So I need to get a hold of him today and see if we can figure it out. I got really busy yesterday, so I did not get a chance. But then it was weird. Like you could book, and I had somebody else book, but then other people had problems. So I got to figure it out today.
Okay, so that is the first issue like that I've heard of, and so people around her store could not book on the app. But I think everybody, anyway, I'll go right into it. This is actually a page off of the app about referring a friend. And you guys, just so everybody knows, you know, Janet is she's a CPA. So she ran the numbers. This is going to, I think, generate a lot more business um, than a punch card. When you think about giving that 10th haircut away free, that's pretty expensive. So what we did is we ran the numbers just so everybody knows. And we're going to try to put together a one-page bullet sheet on exactly so everybody here knows exactly what you're giving away and what you qualify for, or what your customers qualify for. So we will definitely get that for you. So on the app, I sent you guys an email of everything that they can track on the app. The other cool thing is at the end of every quarter, just like you get from Jimmy John's or where I feed my girls a lot or Domino's Pizza, they're going to get an email at the end of every quarter about how many loyalty points they have. So it'll come directly to their email. We want to keep Sheer Madness on everybody's mind. Um, and, you know, one thing about that, if you don't have any loyalty points, so if your customers don't have any loyalty points, and this was a good question somebody called and asked me, they will not get an email that says, hey, you have 0 points at Sheer Madness. Okay, so we don't want anybody to get an email like that. So anybody that has points and has, I'm going to let Marianne in, or has accrued points on the loyalty program, they'll get an email. If they don't have any loyalty points, they will not get an email. Okay, hope that makes sense to everybody. I'm personally really excited about that, and that's a great segue for me to go into the presentation. But does anybody have, and Shelley, you don't count, does anybody have a question on the app or got on there and used it, or has anybody had anybody make any comments on the app? Remember that the poster for the app is on the intranet site Print off those posters. We have them on the front door. We have them on the front desk. We have them on the back door. And when you have that Sheer Madness app on your phone, it's also a subliminal reminder to your customers. I quizzed my girls at our last staff meeting on Sunday night how many times the average person looks at their phone a day. Anybody want to venture a guess? I guess not. The average person looks at their cell phone 150 to 200 times a day. Okay? So people are always, always looking at their phone, and you want that reminder of Sheer Madness on there. We're going to remind them by email. If they have signed up for a text at the end of the quarter, they'll get a text on their phone about how many loyalty points they have. So anyway, just I just think that we're all going to be looking for ways, right, to generate more business. So that's a great segue into what I want to talk about today. I love this time of the year. And one of the reasons that I love this time of year is because, believe it or not, we're through a third of the year, not a quarter, obviously. But when you're through April, you're through a third of the year. And Deloitte does all of their consumer research in the end of the first quarter. And, I want to share some of that with you today. Hopefully, everybody can see this picture on the screen. I have a picture on the screen of a road in Overland Park. Will somebody give me a thumbs up or a chat that you guys can see that picture?
Nope.
You cannot see the picture. Okay, thanks, Todd. I probably need to do that. And I need to do that. Okay, now you guys can see the picture. Okay, and I know everybody's going, okay, what does this have to do with Sheer Madness? So, one of my buddies owns the Scooters Coffee franchise. And this is a busy road about a mile and a half from my house, Santa Fe, in Overland Park. And here's my friend's scooters right here. And over here is a new brew place called Seven Brews. And what happened is um, when this Seven Brews built 25 yards from my friend's Scooter Coffee. Okay. And if I can expand this picture, you can see over here that his drive-through is blocked. And the reason his drive-through is blocked is because Seven Brews, I don't know if you guys have Seven Brews where you're at yet. It's like a Dutch Brothers, but they open them and the line of cars just goes around and around. But the Seven Brews put my friend Scooter out of business in 2 months. Okay. So the moral to that story is number one, it's dog eat dog in business, right? And we're competing with a lot of salons. Okay. The other moral to that story is you better figure out what your customers want, and you better get into the mind of your customer if you're going to survive in this business right now. So that really got me thinking to going to all of the data and all of the research that Deloitte came out with about customers and how they think and what they're looking for. And it really came to mind when I called my friend and I said, what happened here? And he told me the story. So, now I want to tell you, we have worked a lot with AI. And so you guys are going to love the numbers at the end because, we love to share the numbers and talk about what's going on in the system and how many first haircuts everybody did. And that all worked really well in AI. What didn't work really well in AI is my presentation. So I used Grok, and Grok said, "Okay, I've got your presentation. I've got your logos over everything. I've got the Sheer Madness colors on everything. Everything looks great on the presentation. I just couldn't open it." Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back and use my regular old ugly data on this, but I think you guys are gonna get some stuff out of this that is very useful. So sorry about the ugly PowerPoint, but first thing I did was I wanted to look at. Um, so Todd, tell me if you can see that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I started thinking, after talking to my friend, um, you know, what are the priorities of our customers? What is going to make our customers, what kind of buying patterns, what priorities do they have when they're looking to spend their money? So, you guys, this is great data. It's off of the Deloitte. you know, they poll thousands and thousands of people. So, as always, and I kind of expected this, are you guys hearing all the time about value? Oh, it's the value menu. We're creating value. I'm honestly, I'm kind of sick of hearing about value, but it got me thinking about what really is perceived value when it comes to our customers. So I'm going to stick on my glasses here so I can read this a little better. But the number one thing that's driving your customers right now is value. But what that means is good value for the money. Okay? So let me read this to you. Value tops customers' choice list among ongoing cost of living pressures. 47% of global consumers, including 35% of high income household, are now value seekers. So I think the first misconception that we have is if we're in a high net worth area, and most of us are not. I would say, Shelley, you're definitely the outlier there. Probably Carolyn is a little bit of an outlier, but even high income people are looking for value. Okay. And consumers aren't just buying cheap, they want more value than expected. Okay. So, what does that mean as far as we're concerned? Okay. It goes back to that old you know, creating a fantastic experience. There's really some good stuff in here because people are just not going to come back. They're just not going to come back if they don't think that they're getting the value that they deserve. So hold on one second. I'm going to close this. Sorry about that. So, I've heard that over and over and over again, value, value, value. But what value really means to consumers and our customers is value for the money. Okay. Okay, look at this one. Quality and customer service trump pure price for loyalty. So, a lot of us have raised prices. Okay. And I've got some add-on stuff I'm going to email you guys at the end of this about those of us who have raised prices. I know here in Kansas City, both us and Carolyn, we raised our price by $2 to $3 in January and February. Listen, that's okay as long as your customers are getting the quality and the customer service. Okay? And this says why while price gets them in the door, quality and service drive repeat business and recommendations. Satisfied customers are 2 to 3 times more likely to buy more and 8 times more likely to trust the brand. Okay, and what does that mean for us down here at the bottom? Skilled stylist, kid safe processes, exceptional in store experiences. Parents will pay a fair price for peace of mind and end results. Now, according to Deloitte, parents will pay a fair price for peace of mind and results. So, if you raise prices or if you're going to raise prices more, you better deliver. That's the moral to this one, okay? Convenience and time saving are non-negotiable. And I know a couple of you guys jumped on here kind of late. What I'm going through is the Deloitte. At the end of every quarter, they come up with all the consumer trends. So this is off their consumer trends for 2026. Okay, so it's pretty relevant. Okay, convenience and time saving are non-negotiable. How many of you guys have gotten a review and that review says it was fast? It was really quick. It was amazing. I was in and out of there in no time. Okay, people want the experience. They want a great quality haircut. They want the great customer service, but they're busy. Okay. My guess would be is it was hard for you guys to find an hour to do this monthly meeting every month. Okay, so everybody is saving time and everybody's looking at for convenience. Okay, so 64% choose options for convenience. 65, yeah, okay. 65% for better price, online ease. Families prioritize streamlining routines. 84% seek tools to simplify your daily life. Hello, Sheer Madness app. I can't tell you, I love the app. I can book my appointment with Perla in 25 seconds. It is so convenient and so easy. And this next generation is going to really, if you don't have online access and you don't have an app, your business is going to drop dramatically. Okay. So physical stores still lead, but omni-channel research, they're talking about online stuff here that probably doesn't apply to us. But what does apply to us down at the bottom, promote quick appointments. Has anybody ever thought about doing that? I think, based on this research, that a lot of people don't come because they think their kid, they've tried to cut their kid's hair, it's taken them an hour and a half, and, oh, should we go to Oh, I don't want to take him there. It's going to take so long. We have never promoted quick appointments, but I'll tell you, when I read this, convenience and time saving are non-negotiables right now. That was a big one for me. Okay. Walk-in options, no wait kid zones to fill busy parents. We have that with all of the retail out front, but never really thought about that, guys, about promoting quick appointments because this is the third most important. And remember what we're talking about here. This is the third most important thing for our customers. It's convenience and time saving. Now, I will tell you, a lot of our stores that are really, really crowded not only come for a skilled stylist and a great haircut and good customer service, but they come because they know they can get in and out. And they love the fact that we do 15-minute haircuts because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that convenience and time saving. Okay. Number four on this Deloitte survey, number four for consumers was trust, authenticity, and social proof. We've talked about this a lot, right? These millennials, God love us, this Gen Z, going to be a little bit more difficult than even the millennials, but they're going to go to those reviews. They're going to read those reviews. They're going to see what kind of experiences people have. And that trust is built up over time. Consumers are skeptical of polish and demand proof. Positive reviews are real experiences, heavily influences choices. 68% of consumers will pay more for a trusted brand. Okay? Silent churn, this is really interesting, is rising, so visible parent testimonies matter. Anybody know what silent churn is? Silent churn is these reviews off of these like Facebook. Like every once in a while, I tell you guys ought to read your Facebook reviews or, see what people are saying about your store on Facebook and some of these other sites because Jan and I have found some negative things on there. Okay, I think this one is right up our alley. I think this one is right up our alley. Personalization and an emotional experiential value. 37% say personalized recommendations boost purchases. Over 75% expect a tailored experience. Okay, and you remember me on opening this when I was talking about value, and I'm sick of hearing about value, and I don't really understand what value is. Well, I hope this presentation will give you a little better feel when you hear the word value. Value is now reinterpreted as emotional confidence and memorable moments. Wow. Does that ever does that ever hit our brand and our culture right between the eyes? Okay, one thing we can do is create, our girls, our stylists, our staff, they can create that emotional confidence and those memorable experiences. I mean, like, I don't think you can go to Chipotle and have a memorable experience. I was there last night. Nice experience. Went through the line, but I don't think that they can really connect on an emotional, personal level like we can. So I think that is just super important. And then for sheer madness, their recommendation frame haircuts as positive memory making ritual and that parents feel good about. And, that's what I was talking about. This is going to turn a chore into a treat. Okay, let's go have, and I know all of us have had kids that come in and, the parents have said, hey, they woke up this morning and, hey, what do you want to do today? I want to go to Sheer Madness and get a haircut. So, number six on the list Okay, now remember what we're talking about here. This is a April first quarter 2026 consumer survey from Deloitte, where they are polling thousands and thousands of customers on where they're spending their money, why they're spending their money, and how they're spending their money, right? So the overall mindset of the consumers is cautious spending. Okay. If you're wondering why your numbers are down a little bit, I still think this is amazing, you guys. I still think this is crazy, but we don't have one location that was open before COVID that's doing more customers now than they were before COVID. Not one. Not one store in our system. I'm going to repeat that, not to make you guys feel bad, but I'm going to repeat that. There's not one store in our system. Jackie, you're the closest. You're actually pretty close, but that's doing more customers that they were doing before COVID. Okay. So what we're in now, right now, is they're very intentional and they're very cautious on where they're spending their money. Okay. Economic uncertainty makes every purchase earn its place. You guys, I'm going to send this to you guys because I would go over this with my staff so that they understand. You know, it's fine for you guys to hear it, but hopefully you guys can take this to your staff. Economic uncertainty makes every purchase earn its place. I love that. Shoppers compare across 2 to 3 channels, try new brands for better deals, 72%, but they will usually stick with the trusted brands. AI helps research, but human touch wins trust. Discretionary services succeed when they deliver clear ROI on time, joy, or simplicity. For sheer madness, position your service as an essential, low stress family win that stretches budgets without sacrificing quality or fun. Okay. So I'm going to send this to you guys. I'm going to go over this with my staff so that they understand when people come in the door. And you know, it's taken Shannon and I a while because our girls were always going, well, you're just telling us this stuff because you want to make more money. And I turn that right around and I say, no, I want you guys to make more money. I want you guys to get more tips. I want you guys to get more people into the store. Okay. So this all goes to the mind of how our customers think. So this was broad. Okay. So this survey, you know, some of these people went to Gucci's. Some of these people went to Great Clips for a haircut. Some people went to Sheer Madness for a haircut. You know, we learn by this, right? Even high net worth people are looking for something of value. So then I started thinking, well, what about our customers? So I wanted to go a little deeper on this, and I wanted to talk about how our customers, not every age of customer, but how our customers were shopping. Okay, so that led me to this part of this data because I really wanted to know about our customers. Okay. I think one of the things, especially in our new stores, and Marianne, I know you're on here. You and I have talked about this a lot, but people that make under a certain amount of money are no longer coming to our stores. Okay, that's just a fact. There's no other way to put it. And the reason is they literally, and I'm not talking about a big percentage of our customers, but I'm talking about those customers that really are paycheck to paycheck and they just have enough to get groceries. And, that is 20, people that have kids, our demographic, people that have kids are younger and they're not in their big earning years. Okay. So I want to talk about the other 75% of our customers and who are they? Okay. Who are these? So our customers are hunting deals. They're comparing prices. They're trading down. I didn't like those two words because you know where they're going if they're trading down, if they're not getting a fantastic experience and they're really looking at cost, they're trading down. They're probably going to where they can get the cheapest haircut. They're sacrificing some convenience for savings like cooking at home, right? Restaurant business really, really hard right now, really hard. Okay. So what they're doing is they are sacrificing and cutting out some things. This is not just low income bargain hunting. It's a mindset prioritizing perceived value. There's those two words again. Okay? What's perceived value? It's quality plus worth, what they're getting, what kind of experience are they getting. So, you guys, when I did this, read through this whole Deloitte thing, okay, and then fed it into AI and it gave me this stuff. It 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 didn't really it made me feel better because I think in our concept we are able to create an emotional connection with our customers. And I thought about the place. By the way, just going back to Chipotle, the one by my house, they've gone ahead and dropped prices again. So they've dropped their prices by 10 or 15%. We don't need to do that if we're creating a great experience. Okay. 40%, I'm on number two here. 40% of US consumers overall are value seekers. This spans all income and ages, but young families, and this is what I was talking about a minute ago, stand out. Nearly 3 in 10 value seekers are young families with six-figure medium household incomes. Okay. So everybody, the moral to this story is everybody is seeking some value. Now, I think Paula joined this late, but you've heard her and I talk about Walgreens, just getting in this, our loyalty program, even just getting $3 or $4 back is going to be super meaningful and it's going to resonate with people. So, so here's our demographics that we're talking about, that Gen X, okay? And what this is the value seeker. So 49% of Gen X. Now, I'm a boomer, so I don't want to talk about that group. But 40% of millennials and 44% of Gen Z. Okay, hey Leanne. 44% of Gen Z are value seekers. Okay. Higher income value seekers, people that make $200,000 or more, 23% of people making $200,000 or more are still value seekers. Okay. Families feel acute pressure. Okay, are you ready for this line? 70% of Americans say raising kids is too expensive. Listen to this. Finances are now the number one reason people are limiting their family size. Okay. And then, some like my daughter, they don't listen. She has four. My next door neighbor has five kids, but families right now are really feeling the pressure. Think of 70%. That's a high, high number. 70% of Americans say raising kids is too expensive. Why am I telling you all this? Because we are trying to get into the mind of now our customers. So the first part of this was getting in the mind of all consumers, including ours. Now we're going into the mind of our customers. Look at this. Families cut back on non-essential, but still splurge where they see clear ROI. That's emotional joy, time saving, quality. 38% have reduced spending in certain categories. 39% compare prices more carefully. So let's talk about that first line. Families cut back on non-essentials. So is the haircut that you're giving, is it essential for your customers? And those customers I'm talking about are the moms and dads. Are they saving time? Is the quality good? Is the experience good? If it is, then they'll think it's essential because they're cutting back on non-essentials. One of the reasons, one of the reasons, besides higher prices, or I should say, because of higher prices, that we have not seen the amount of customers we had before COVID is because people are cutting their own hair. They're cutting their own kids' hair. My oldest daughter out in Denver, who makes lots of money, refuses to pay that much for a haircut out in Denver. So it's very interesting times right now. Families are cutting back on non-essentials, so your experience has to be phenomenal, and you have to convince your customers when they walk out of your store that you're giving them an essential service. Okay? Trade down and premiums trade up. One third trade down in one area to splurge in another. I'm going to say that again. One third trade down in one area to splurge in another. For families, this means prioritizing experiences that deliver more than expected. MVP brands win. You guys, I think you should go through this with your staff, and that you understand this is not about you, but it's also about them and how important the customer is. And that customer, Carolyn has on the back of her door in her salon, she's got it written in chalk. Create a fantastic experience because your customers can spend money on haircuts wherever they want to. Okay, so you better create a great experience. Okay, Gen Alpha says 42% of household spending and up to 49% on high income homes. Parents weigh kids' input but control the budget. Value must feel justified. Who are you making happy when they come to that store? Let me read this again. Parents weigh kids' input, but who's controlling the money? You got it. Those parents are controlling the money. So you better make sure that those kids are weighing in and saying, hey, mom, dad, I want to go to Sheer Madness and get a haircut. Parent pressures. Listen to this one, you guys. 83% say cost of raising kids is out of control. 80, that's one of the highest percentages you will ever see on a survey. Parents budget more rigorously. 60% set yearly budgets versus 37% for non-parents. And seek ways to simplify routine. 75% of couples with kids, 84% of connected shoppers. So I think that one's important. Simplifying their routine. Okay. This goes back to, you guys, I think we ought to advertise a quick service. I think we ought to advertise that, hey, we're appointment based. You come in, you get your hair cut, you're out of here. Okay. 83% say the cost of raising kids is out of control, and the parents really budget a lot more than the non-parents. Okay. What value means to these families beyond price. Okay. So here's kind of a summary of what we talked about, right? Quality and results, skilled, reliable service that lasts longer or reduces stress. That reducing stress, isn't that one of our biggest benefits? That has got to be one of our biggest benefits, doesn't it? Time and convenience, quick, hassle-free appointments, fit busy schedules, the emotional payoff, positive experience, fun, low drama visits that create family memories without guilt. And what would that guilt be? Anybody want to take a guess on that? You know what that guilt is? That they spent $120 at Sheer Madness and didn't get? Really? Gosh, I could have spent that money on da 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 because it wasn't that great. Or, you know, I have no guilt, man. That was a great, my kid looks great. He's groomed great. By the way, I think that's another thing that we don't promote enough, how important it is for kids to be well groomed and look good. And man, when those kids walk out of the store, I'm hoping your receptionist are telling them how good they look and how handsome or how beautiful, because that is creating those memories that's going to make people come back. Trust and proof, reviews, transparency, and no surprises. Pricing built confidence. Up to 40% of perceived brand value comes from non-price factors. So those of us who have raised the price, that should make you feel better as long as you have the quality and the trust and the experience. Okay? So brand value at Sheer Madness means something to our customers that keeps them coming back. And that is beyond price. Price has nothing to do with it. So let me wrap this up. So we talked about all the consumers. We just talked about our segment, what our segment of consumers is looking for. Here's our challenge, you guys. Here is our challenge. Our consumers are not in their high income earning years, most of them. Now, obviously, I know, the doctors come out with high salaries and all of that type of stuff. There are a group of people that come right out of college, the engineers. I'm not talking about them, okay? I'm talking about a large percentage of our customers who are not in their high income earning years. Okay. So one thing we can do is position a smart value, more for your money. Now, of course, I had this generated by AI, so it didn't say loyalty program, but right in the middle of this is, family deals and perks, right? So just make sure everybody has that app on their phone. They can track their points. They're going to get text. They're going to get emails, whichever one they've signed up that's telling them how many points they have. But they're trying to be smarter with the way they're spending their money. So those are all great things we can do. Okay, if it's possible, Shelley, this isn't hard for you. Target high income value seekers. Okay. Um, what they're talking about here is just people that have discretionary income. Okay. You know, you can market to a certain segment of the economy, but it's not going to do you any good because we know those people are not spending money. So when you talk to Jordan and he's doing your marketing, he will be looking for those areas where people have discretionary income. You guys, when we look for places to open up a Sheer Madness, we look at the number of kids that are on free lunch. If that number is very, very high, there's not a lot of discretionary money there. Okay. So that's what they're talking about. Don't feel bad about targeting the high income and the upper income value seekers because they have the discretionary income. Combat price sensitivity, offer clear comparisons, promotions, testimonials showing time saved or repeat visit savings. Don't know if you guys looked at that little TikTok that I sent. I don't know. But, that guy gives away free haircuts and he films them and then he gets this big testimonial and then he posts it. Okay. So his deal was, I don't mind doing free haircuts, but I'm always going to get something for my free haircut. Okay. Opportunity in a market where parents are selective. Franchise is delivering reliable joy and efficiency, stand out. Value seekers reward brands that stretch budgets while enhancing family life. Okay. And hey, guys, just in closing, this segment is structural and it's here to stay. It's driven by cost of living fatigue, but it's balanced by a desire for worthwhile family moments. Hey, our customers still want these moments. I am going to go and look at, um, oh, Marianne. Okay, I need to step back, and now she's back. Okay, Marianne, thanks for letting me know that. Okay, guys, we have worked with Zenoti. And so I think you guys are going to like the numbers. If I can, let me get them up here. Um, and don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm going to get them up here. So this is going to be, we're all working with AI, right? And trying to figure it out and how it's going to save us all time. So once we get this figured out, I'll be able to run the monthly numbers in 5 minutes, which is going to be awesome. That is going to save me a lot of time. So just want to show you how this looks. By the way, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but Zenoti uses Claude. So I know everybody's heard a lot about Anthropic and Claude versus Chat GPT and, Chat GPT versus Grok and all this, but kind of rising to the top, the cream of the crop is Claude. So anyway, this is a Claude generated report, but kind of the same thing that we have seen. I'm going to make this a little bigger if I can. So this is how this is. Oh, shoot. Okay. You guys get that back okay? Is that back on there or not? Hopefully, hopefully. So here are the top overall sales for April of 2026. So you can see a lot of red in this column here. And that is the month over month, right? We went through what is mostly spring break for most of us, March, which is a little busier. The weather starts to warm up. April, they're kind of through spring break. They're kind of getting in back into school. So we typically see a month over month number for you guys that have not been in business very long. You'll see numbers like that go down in April. West Des Moines, however, Kayla, yay, Kayla, was up 1.5%, and Jackie was up 4.3%. And that is the month over month, and here is the year over year. And guess what? There's a lot of green in the year over year April. Could it be the Sheer Madness app? Could it be Zenoti? Am I just grasping for straws? I don't know, but there is a lot of green over here in the year over year. Rochester up 17, Lee Summit up 18, Orchard Park up 19, Todd up 13, up 3.9, up 4.2. Marianne, I know you're on here, up 19.2. So pretty good year over year numbers. By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't stop right now and remind everybody that there is usually 2 to 3 months a year when we get 5 full weekends. Full weekends, it's usually 2 months a year. We're in one right now. Now, I know that at the end of May, you're getting into Memorial Day weekend, which is not typically as busy, but you do have 5 full weekends in May. So we can all look forward to that. The top service stores in April, Rochester was the only store that topped $30,000 in service revenue. And boy, last month I didn't report the baby's first last month. And last month, Kayla, in Des Moines, you guys did 70. You did 70 first haircut packages in March, which was really good. Rochester is going to take that this month with 69 first haircut packages in the month of April. So Ellie, Todd, Todd, I think you're making Ellie work today because I don't think she's on here. Uh, oh, Ellie got married? Wow. And Amherst did 40 ear piercings in April, which was excellent. Okay. And then the top retail stores, and really where we like to look at retail is retail per customer, correct? And we're showing Amherst as $7.24 per customer in retail, which was really good. That was really, really good. Orchard Park did 6.13. San Antonio did 6.13. Lake Mary 6.45. So pretty good retail numbers considering what we just talked about, right? Consumer spending and all of that. So pretty good. And then we also Marianne, you had almost 75 cents in hair retail per client. Okay, that's like products. And so, really, some pretty decent numbers in April, considering that April is kind of a blah month anyway. So, the top vendors in April, okay, Ty was the top, then StudX with the ear piercing, License to Play, M&J, US Toy, Claire's. So, we'll yeah, that San Antonio. So that probably should not be on there. That's something that Grok picked up there. Genie's Toy Network, and then multiple vendors, number nine, and then Sheer Madness Franchising. Some of our products, a lot of people have had products shipped out of here. We appreciate it. So 30, and the other thing Grok will do is it will add up the retail. So the franchise locations did $34,000 in retail sales, sold $3,931 worth of tie, and total items sold 2,826 retail items were sold in the system. And then this is what we had for honorable mentions in the month of April. First haircut certificates, Rochester. That was outstanding. That was number one in the system. Ear piercings was Amherst, and the retail per customer was also Amherst. So, Todd, I know that you have gotten that store a little staffed now, and those numbers definitely show it. So, and the other thing, you guys, is if you don't have the retail in your store, you're not going to sell any retail, right? Do I need to say that again? If you don't have any retail in the store, you're not going to sell much retail. So, you guys, that is almost exactly 1 hour. Um, I have had a couple people call me this morning just wanting to know a little bit about the retail and how the retail is controlled. So we're going to cover that next month and why we do retail like we do it. But I want to thank every one of you guys. I don't know when it's going to get better. I will tell you, if you're surviving right now and you're making some money or you're breaking even, um, there are a lot of businesses closing around my store. So this kind of goes back to making sure that everybody knows that haircuts are essential. So anybody have anything that they need to know about the app? Or Shelly, I will call you after the meeting. But anybody have anything they want to cover or anything that I didn't cover or want to talk about or that you need from Zenoti? We meet, Janet and I meet with Zenoti every week, not once a month. Last week, we met with them twice a week. We met with them Thursday and Friday. Did you have something that you wanted to talk about? Okay, Janet's got one more thing before we jump off here.
Hello. I just wanted to talk real quickly about the loyalty points. Our loyalty points are set up kind of almost like a 3% cash back. So for every dollar that someone spends, they get 3 loyalty points. And this month we did a special on mom services. And Todd asked me about it yesterday, and it looked like, okay, it was not set up quite right. So this is like our learning curve. But what Zenoti does, which is frustrating to me because I wanted to just double the points, but it doesn't. It only allows us to set like a certain number of points. So what I did was I just went in yesterday and took the average of what everybody charges for like a mommy and me haircut or mom's basic haircut or mom's fancy haircut, and then just set a high number of points to go in there for that would be about double. So it's kind of like everybody gets about double points for that service. And then they still get, the regular points that they would for retail purchases and that sort of thing on top of that. So that is how that works. It's set up just for the month of May. It did not do it retroactive, Todd. So I will go in and manually fix anyone's who got a mommy service before yesterday's date, May 4th. So I'll go in and fix that. So any questions? The other thing I did want to mention, we do have it set up that they get 50 loyalty points if they book an appointment ahead of time. So what that means though is they have to book an appointment for their next service on the same day that they got a service. And we haven't really advertised that because we've also had locations that are having trouble with no-shows. So I've kind of been hesitant to like put a thing, oh, make sure and make your next appointment. But I do feel like, as summer comes, definitely when we get into June and July, we definitely will want people to book their back to school appointments ahead of time. And they don't get those points unless they actually come for the appointment. And they can book it online, but it has to be booked the same day that they came in for a service. So it can't be a couple days later. It has to be booked that same day for their next service. So there is like incentive in there for people to book ahead of time if you want to promote that and have your receptionist ask people if they want to go ahead and book their next appointment as they leave. So anyway, just wanted to let everybody know about that. And I will just email again the exact loyalty structure so that you all have it. I know we sent it out one time before, but I'll just go ahead and send it out again so everybody's reminded of how that works. And then I'll include an explanation. And next time that we do, we won't advertise double points. We will just advertise a specific, it's kind of hard though, because this is every mom service. So I think I'll have to rethink that, how we want to do that. And if you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to have them. We did tell Zenoti, why can't we just do double points? Because that to me makes it's a perfect promotion to do. And I'm not sure why we're unable to just do that, but we're not. So anyway, I will turn this back over to Jim.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Oh, this is Jackie. I just wanted to see how the birthday parties are going at the other places. I had a few people have a couple of birthday parties, so I'm just trying to see if they're cutting in that area too at the other places.
Did anybody want to comment on that?
Oh,
Jim? Yeah.
Birthday parties seem to be a continuous problem to get traction and staffing.
oh,
Just don't have enough parties regularly to get consistent staffing, so it's a high turnover. But yeah, it's just a slow grind.
yeah. Do you have your birthday parties start doing work hours or you have them after hours?
The salons that have a party room can do them anytime they want. Rochester does them on Sundays when they're closed.
Okay.
And
Because I
Todd's
started
actually
something
gonna,
new. Let me
yeah,
tell you what
Todd's,
I started doing.
okay,
I'm
tell
sorry.
us. No, go ahead.
Real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. Because I always do my birthday parties after hours because it's just too busy in the shop to do birthday parties during the party. So what I did was we close at 5 on Saturdays. So I start the birthday party at 4. And by that time, I'm done with all the makeup, the hair, the blah, 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 blah. And after we close at 5, cleaned up 15 minutes, the girls just doing all the work, it's time for the fashion show.
That sounds
So
like
we have about 30 more minutes for the party.
yeah.
So my girls like that better, okay? Because they don't have to stay too long. But yeah, we do our parties on Sundays and Mondays. I'm closed on Sundays and Mondays too. Okay, I was just Curious.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is Todd's going to do something new this summer. Do you want to talk about that, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't launched it yet. I'm getting close, but yeah, we're gonna do a hair camp or a salon camp, whatever you want to call it, and that will be utilizing the birthday party room from 9 to 12:30 Monday through Friday every other week. And we kind of have a itinerary of different things that are going to be taught to the girls, how to take care of their hair, washing their hair. They're each going to get a mannequin head. I'll share the agenda once I get it done, but I know parents struggle to stick their kids in things over the summer, and that room just sits there so empty all the time. So we're going to give that a shot.
That's nice. Are you charging them or what? How's it gonna go?
Yeah, it's probably going to be about $300 a kid.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then I just wanted to make one comment, and I know I've talked about this before, but I'm just going to show you all like Lee Summit's online booking page. Are you seeing our book online booking right now? Or do I need to?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you look over here under the hours of operation, I just added these two things to my own pages because Lee Summit is going to start opening in May. But so I wanted to like advertise that, but I also wanted to advertise the loyalty points for moms. So I just put those things. But I just wanted to remind you all that you do have the freedom to edit this part of your page for online booking. And if you don't remember how to do that, I'll be glad to show you again. But I did show everybody, I think, 2 or 3 meetings ago, something like that. So just a reminder, I think it's a great space to advertise what's going on. I don't know if you all noticed, but we did right here start really advertising our loyalty points for um, referring someone. So they can click on that. They actually get a code. If they follow it through, send it to a friend, and the friend comes in and gets a haircut, the person who referred actually gets 500 loyalty points, which is equivalent to $5. And then the friend gets $3 off of their service when they come in and get their service done. So we're trying to do this. If you click on that whole thing, you get your verification code, but you follow it through and it's super simple to do. And they can send it to as many friends as they want to. So anyway, we're trying some new things here to see if we can get these things going. So any other comments? All right. Oh, that's it. Thank you all so much and have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of the month.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.